Welcome, listeners, to Embracing Power and Potential, your go-to podcast where we travel through the realms of personal growth, mindset mastery, and fear-conquering strategies to help achieve your greatest desires. I'm your host, Portia, and I'm thrilled to be your guide on this transformative experience. If you're ready to unleash your authentic power and elevate your life, you're in the right place. Join me and our special guests as we embark on conversations that will broaden your horizons and enrich your journey. So, sit back and immerse yourself in these unmatched discussions. It's time to expand your mind and your life. Have you ever felt like you are pushing through, but you may be at your breaking point physically, emotionally, or mentally? Maybe you overwork yourself in your job, or trying to fit in time for a side hustle. Or perhaps you were the person who is always there for everyone, helping, fixing, until you reach the point of max exhaustion. If you can relate to this, then you may have experienced burnout in your life. So today in this episode, I am going to discuss what burnout actually is, things that can cause it, how to prevent a burnout, and 5 steps to recover from it when it happens. So, what is burnout then? The definition of burnout is a state of chronic physical, emotional, and mental exhaustion caused by prolonged stress, usually related to work or personal responsibilities. And I felt called to record this episode today because I believe I have been experiencing a burnout in these recent weeks, emotionally, probably to say the most, just because of some personal things that have been going on in my life, but also with this new work-life balance that I'm having to navigate with starting my new passion project, with this podcast. I've got the blog and my new coaching business that I'm just starting up all at once alongside my day job. So yeah, this is just something that I've been experiencing at the moment. So I'm hoping that people that are listening, this will reach the right audience today, and I can give you some tips on how to get through this time or bring these symptoms to your awareness. So if you ever do get to this point, you may be able to stop it quicker than you would usually, which will not have such of an impact than it would if you let it go to the full extent of the burnout without realizing it, that it's happening. So basically the things that can cause burnout is a lack of work balance, overworking. So this can be in your job. Maybe you're a carer and maybe you don't get the adequate sleep that you need. So because you're always caring for someone else, and maybe you've got someone else in your mind. That is just an example. Maybe your job's very physical and you don't have the best sleep routine, so your body's actually needing to still catch up on rest the next day, and eventually you will reach that point of physical exhaustion. But they're just a couple of examples, and I'm sure you can think of some in your own life where you may be overworking yourself. There's also emotional exhaustion, and this can be with maybe you're in a draining relationship, or you have to deal with painful family members that are energy vampires and aren't a positive energy in your life, which can be very draining. Maybe you argue with the people in your household or your partner or your relatives or your siblings, and that can be very draining, especially if it's consistent over a prolonged time, causes you stress. This will reach emotional burnout or emotional exhaustion, which I am currently facing at the moment. But I thought I still wanted to just get an episode out there because I have been resting a lot this week, just listening to my body, which is one of the ways that I believe you can really prevent burnout from happening or recover from it. So basically, I believe that when burnout happens, it's because when we start doing life on autopilot again, that's, you wake up, you don't even think about your day. It just happens naturally. You wake up and you brush your teeth. It's autopilot. You don't think about it. You just do it. You wake up and, well, I make my bed as soon as I wake up, and it's just the thing that I do every single day because my body's conditioned to do that now. So that's autopilot. But I'm talking about more everyday things like getting up, going to my physical job, which I don't really make time to stretch before and after for, which would probably make a difference on my physical health, but I do need to make the time to do that again. But I think, burnout happens when you start doing life on autopilot again and you're not as present in the moment. So maybe you're going to your job and you're coming home and then you're doing your washing and you're doing the housework and you don't even realize that this is just a consistent thing that you're doing. And I get it's everyday life and everyone has to do these essential mundane tasks and working, but if we can be present and actually make time for ourselves and self-care, even just sitting out in nature for 10 minutes, 5 to 10 minutes a day can make such a difference. Instead of, being in that autopilot, you're actually taking a minute and you're being present. And this alone can recharge your energy and your batteries. Think of your human body as a battery life. We are going to run out of fuel if we don't get our sunlight, our good, healthy, balanced diets. Maybe you're on autopilot, you're going to work every day and you're going through the drive-throughs and you're getting the easy takeaway foods. That is going to take a toll on your health eventually. So that included can actually be a little factor to a burnout. So just, being conscious of the way that you're eating, the way that you're thinking, the way that you're moving your body, the way that you are going through your daily life, just, be more present. Sorry, I went on a bit of a tangent then, but I do believe that being present in your daily life will prevent a burnout from happening. But next, we're going to look at some common effects from burnout or signs to look out for. So basically, the physical symptoms of burnout, you may feel fatigued even after you have rested, and you still feel exhausted when you just wake up. This is because, and I know from experience, that is when a burnout is coming on for me. You may experience headaches more often, suffer from insomnia, having trouble sleeping, and a weakened immune system, which will cause you to get sick more often because your body is needing that refuel and recharge. So without it, your body is actually more open to getting sick and catching things, maybe a stomach bug or the flu, because your body hasn't had that time to rest and recharge. The emotional symptoms, you may feel detached just from life in general. Maybe you're in spacey energy, you're just not really with it. Maybe you lack the motivation to actually go to work or to finish your passion projects or to do just your normal daily routines that you've done for ages, but all of a sudden you just don't have that energy. Maybe you get irritable easier because you're running on low and you just don't have that mental capacity for people or things at the moment until you have that reset. Some behavioral symptoms are procrastination. So it's something that that is a killer for me, is when I am burnt out, I procrastinate on doing anything. Like, I know that I need a rest, but it's so hard for me to rest. So I'm laying there feeling guilty. It's a cycle that I work through quite often. Maybe you have a withdrawal from responsibilities, and this is kind of goes hand in hand with procrastination. But burnout is so common amongst society today. We need to learn that rest is just as, if not more important than being productive. This problem may stem back from our parents and our ancestors because they look at work and productivity differently. I know that that's where my problem comes from. My nan would always say, "Oh, you don't sit down and watch the TV during the day," or "People are just so lazy these days." So this has made me feel conditioned to work, work, work all the time and actually feel guilty if I want to watch a movie and relax on a random Tuesday or take a nap because I feel tired. It is a slow process, but I am relearning how to prioritize my rest because I do know how important it is. Ever feel like you're meant for more, but something keeps holding you back? Maybe you've read the books, set the goals, but deep down, doubt still creeps in. It's not just about working harder, it's about rewriting your mindset for success. I help ambitious young people break past limiting beliefs, step into their power, and create the life they know they are meant for. If you're ready to stop playing small and start living big, book in your free discovery call with me today. My website will be linked in the show notes, or you can find me in my Instagram bio. Embracing Power and Potential Coaching Services. A vision to empower 10,000 young people to create a life they truly desire. Five steps to recover from burnout. Number one is to recognize and accept that you may be experiencing a burnout. So, this self-awareness and acknowledging the problem is the only way that you can actually start the process of putting steps in place to recharge and reset your energy. Number two is to prioritize rest and recovery. I know that this can be difficult, but listening to your body and sleeping when you feel is needed is so important. Maybe adjusting your sleep schedule to go to bed earlier or allowing yourself a sleep in, which is hard for me, but I have been doing it lately. Not all every day, but one day here and there, I will give my body that time that it needs. Also, trying relaxation techniques and just taking breaks away from work and life. Number three, setting boundaries. So, learning to say no and also recreating a work-life balance that works for you and actually feels good. Try not to do things that you feel obligated to do for other people's happiness, unless, of course, you have to and it's a responsibility of yours, like going to a job. You're not doing that for your boss's happiness. You're doing that because that's a daily responsibility that you have. But to also put yourself first, which brings me to my next point. Number four is prioritizing self-care. This can look like treating yourself and taking care of your body through exercising, mindfulness activities like meditation, reading, drawing, or just sitting in nature in silence without your phone near you or any distractions. It's actually very beneficial. Or just finding hobbies that you enjoy and maybe you can just get lost in. Time goes by and you don't realize. You can be present and it's enjoyable. Things like that do recharge your energy because it's actually raising your vibration. Because when you feel good, doing something that is good for you, you raise your frequency. And number 5, reevaluating goals and expectations. This is important because if you have experienced burnout, you're experiencing it because what you're currently doing isn't working or just isn't the best option for you. So to change the way you feel, you have to change your lifestyle. This can be small changes that make big impacts. Align your work and lifestyle with your personal values. And lastly, to prevent burnout, recreating your daily routines for sustainable productivity habits. So things that don't overwork yourself. Maybe you only work for a half an hour stints at a time and give yourself a 10-minute break or a half an hour break. Maybe you just go for a relaxing walk during the day to break up your work balance life, to break up your work day. And this takes some pressure off your mind and your mental capacity. Another way to prevent burnout is mindful time management. And that sort of goes hand in hand with what I was saying before. Taking those breaks when you need to. Maybe you only have a set times that you work during the day from maybe 10 until 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Any time before that or after that, shut off completely from work and recharge your energy. Do something for yourself that makes you feel good. Maybe it's going for a dip in the beach. I know that recharges my energy. Even if I'm there for 10 to 15 minutes. Oh, that really does something for me. So find what does something for you and do that more often. And then my last point is regular check-ins with yourself to avoid a stress build-up. And you can do this through journaling, or I know this is going to sound funny for some people, but just having a conversation with yourself, going through what's working and what's not at the moment. What are you stressed about? Write a list of these things so you can become aware of it. Because being aware of these things is the first step to actually changing them. So just to finish off, I want to remind you that burnout isn't a sign of weakness, but it is a signal for change. So it is okay if you have experienced this. It's nothing to be ashamed of, which I know I've felt before when I do feel like I need to rest and like I don't have any more to give. I crash. And now I know that when I need to rest, it is okay. And it is an encouragement to prioritize well-being and to take proactive steps towards a more balanced life that feels good for you. And lastly, make sure that you do actually become aware of this when it happens, because it's not just regular stress, it is prolonged chronic stress, and this can actually lead to serious health issues if it is left undressed. So I might make another episode going into that later on about the health benefits or the health hazards that burnout can actually have. But for now, I'm just going to leave it there. I hope that this does help you, or maybe you are able to recognize if you've been feeling like this yourself, so this doesn't happen to you and you can prevent yourself from undergoing serious health hazards that come with burnout and overworking yourself. It is okay to rest, so please do. Go take a nap or go just lay down on your bed or do something that you're not even using your mind. Go sit out on the grass and connect with nature, because it really does make a difference. These small little changes make big impacts. I hope you have the best day and I will see you in the next ep. Also, I have posted my blog on my website. I've updated that, so yeah, definitely go check that as well. That will be in the show notes below. And I hope you have the best day. Love you lots. Bye.